Introducing YouTube memberships, a fun way to support the channel while getting some exclusive perks. Click the join button to become a member now and get benefits like badges next to your name on videos, behind-the-scenes photos, advantages during the live trivia game, discounts on merchandise, private one-on-one video chats, the ability to request future video topics, and exclusive 8 to 10 minute videos on the history of the NFL. And now, on with our feature presentation. Yep, 3 episodes of dumb decisions in one day. These coaches are making me work overtime this season, holy cow. Dumb, dumber, and dumbest. Here we go. October 22nd, 2023. It's week 7 of the NFL season, and we've got an NFC West battle on our hands up at Lumen Field in Seattle, between the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. This season has been a rough one for the Cards, and that's putting it lightly. No one expected them to be any good this season, and they're living up to their horrible expectations through 6 games, as they sit at 1-5 following 3 straight losses, neither of which were any close, with each of the 3 being decided by double digits and multiple possessions. Arizona's schedule is an absolute gauntlet, as all but 2 of their opponents are currently at or above 500 the rest of the way. This could be brutal. A win against Seattle would be nice to get things back on track and give yourself some momentum, but let's call it for what it is. This is a bad football team that is not expected to do much of anything in this scheme. However, to Arizona's credit, their defense comes to play, as midway through the 4th quarter, the Seahawks, who entered this game with one of the top scoring offenses in football, having dropped 37 on multiple occasions, have only scored 17 points. Granted, Arizona's offense is as lethargic as ever thanks to the uninspired passing of Joshua Dobbs. But the Cardinals aren't in a terrible spot, as with 6 minutes left, they have the ball at midfield, down by 7 points. Let's see what they can do here. First down, and it's a gain of 1 up the middle. Alright, not a whole lot there. Let's see what happens on 2nd down. It's a slant route that is incomplete, but it's honestly probably better from a clock perspective that it was, because if this ball was caught, that's only a gain of a yard or 2, and that's not going to do a whole lot. 3rd down, and oof, oh man, that's one that Zach Ertz would like to have back. Nice play by Dobbs, but man, Ertz, you've got to catch that ball. That is an easy 1st down. Well, that is a bummer. No 2 ways around it. That is a bummer, because now it's 4th down, and seeing as it's 4th and long, you've got to punt the ball away. You have all your timeouts, your defense is playing well, you can pin the Seahawks inside their own 10-yard line, and you've still got time to get another quality possession. So while it stinks to have to punt the ball away, sending the punt team out like the Cards are doing right here is absolutely the right move. So with that in mind, let's see what happens on this punting play.
It's going to be a fake.
What the heck is this? Why did you line up in a punting formation without the punter? Why are you lining up to go for it like this? Why did you think a single soul would be fooled by this? Why did you think this was a good idea? Jonathan Gannon, did you hit your head on a cactus or something? Why do you think this is a good idea?
They set up to punt. Pass is caught by Wilson, but not nearly enough.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something that look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something that look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon. Look, a first-year coach is going to make some mistakes. There's definitely a learning curve here. But this call? This freaking call? This was inexcusable. Did this call light a fire in your gut? Did you come up with this call on the bus here? Or the car here? Depending on which one you took? Jonathan Gannon's Cardinals have shown a complete inability to make in-game adjustments, as evidenced by how atrocious they've been in the second half of games, especially from an offensive standpoint. And they are one of the worst teams in football, and might be the worst team in football not named the Carolina Panthers. And with play calls and decisions like this one from Gannon, yeah, it's not that hard to see why that's the case. They're not exactly helping their own cause. So with that being said, let's take a look at why calling a fake punt with 5 minutes left near midfield on 4th and long is a really bad idea. There are so many ways that I can go with this one, and so many places where I can start with this absolutely idiotic trick play. But I guess I'll start here. What's the most important element of a trick play? If you had to say what's the number one thing you need to do if you're going to try a trick play? That's right, try and fool the opposition. Try and make them believe that you're not going to do the thing that you're actually going to do. And this play failed on so many levels for that reason. First off, notice anything lacking on the field on this fake punt? That's right, the punter! The freaking punter! No one's going to fall for a fake punt where the punter isn't even on the field. If your punter isn't on the field, but your backup quarterback, Clayton Tune, is, guess what? The Seahawks are going to be alerted to that right away. It's like if I'm trying to pull off the hidden ball trick in a game of baseball, and I have the genius idea to expose the ball in my glove so that you can clearly see that I have the ball. Like, wow. You're not fooling anyone there. It's like if I'm trying to pull off an undercover mission as an undercover cop, and I show up to the scene wearing my police uniform. Really good job fooling people. No one, not a single soul, was surprised by this fake punt, even though you lined up like you were trying for a punt, because you didn't have the personnel out there for a punt, and that's kind of important. Plus, even if the Seahawks didn't realize whatsoever that there was a fake punt about to take place because the punter wasn't on the field, they had to think something could be afoot, considering how little time was left in the game and where the Cardinals were on the field. There was no reason for the Seahawks to be in a punt return formation and sell out all the way there, seeing as the Cardinals were at midfield, and a punt is likely either resulting in a fair catch from that spot or is going into the end zone for a touchback. So you can afford to have guys who are waiting on the fake. It's not like the Cards were punting this at their own 20-yard line. They were punting this at a spot where the Seahawks wouldn't be able to do anything with it. Plus, when you're down by 7 with 5 minutes left, of course there's going to be some suspicion. Trying a fake punt is one thing. Trying a fake punt without even trying to execute the fake part, though, is something else entirely. And this might go down as one of the most poorly disguised fake punts I've ever seen in my life. But even taking the absolutely horrible decision to fake the punt aside, how on earth was this even remotely worth it? Let's look at the risk and reward of the situation. The plan is for your backup quarterback, who is a rookie, who looked like complete garbage in the preseason, and who has never thrown a pass in his NFL career before, to throw a pass on 4th and 9, where the first read, based on his eye movement, is miles short of the sticks. The chances that this play works? Slim to none, especially because no one with any sort of brain would have been fooled in the first place. Heck, you could have gone to Pike Place Market before the game, had a fish thrown at your head by Randy Johnson at full speed, gotten concussed, and still wouldn't be fooled by this. That's how obvious this was. However, if this play doesn't work out, which is highly likely, what happens next? Well, the Seahawks get the ball near midfield and are only one first down away from getting into field goal range. And that is a pretty big deal. As it stands, it's a 17-10 ball game. It's a one-possession contest. If the Seahawks get a field goal and make it a two-score game, for all intents and purposes, this game is over, and you can't come back. And even if you do get the stop and prevent the Seahawks from getting that field goal, the Seahawks are just going to punt it away. And now, your offense has to drive 90 or so yards down the field to tie the game, which is a struggle, seeing how anemic your offense has been all day, and especially in the second half of this game. So if you don't get this first down on this fake punt, that everyone can see coming a mile away, this game is just about over barring a complete miracle. You didn't have to go for it here. You shouldn't have gone for it here. If you did the smart thing and punted away, the Seahawks are likely getting the ball inside their own 10-yard line with 5 minutes left, and with you having all 3 of your timeouts. That is plenty of time to not only get the ball back, but get decent field position too. And it would be one thing if you went for it here with your defense struggling, knowing that if Seattle touched the ball again, they likely would hold on to it for the rest of the game. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Your defense have been playing some great football as of late. The Seahawks had 4 drives so far in the second half. On those 4 drives, they scored just 3 points. On their last drive, they went 3 and out and lost 2 yards. On their second to last drive, they turned it over with a fumble. And on their third to last drive, they turned it over on an interception. The last 3 drives, and your defense held them in check, allowing 20 yards combined with 2 turnovers and a 3 and out. The odds they are getting the ball back with a new set of downs and a chance to drive with pretty good field position are pretty high, all things considered. And yet, you decide to throw that away for a fake punt where the punter wasn't even on the field, where you're trusting a rookie quarterback who has never thrown a pass before, where the first read is well short of the sticks, and where if you don't get it, you basically lose the game? How does that make even the slightest bit of sense? Seriously, Coach Gannon, how does the math add up on that one? Because I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it at all. I don't think most people were either. After the game, a reporter asked Gannon about just what the heck he was thinking with a fake punt, which I'm actually kind of shocked by. Seeing as in the other episodes of Dumb Decisions that came out today, it's as though the reporters didn't even watch the game and have any idea how to question the coaching staff for their stupidity. And Gannon's explanation was, well, it wasn't really much of an explanation, but rather more of a my bad kind of answer. Said Gannon on the call, credit to them. They made the play. You've got to live with those decisions. I like the call, and ultimately, that's on me. We didn't get it done. But why did you like the call? Seriously, why did you like the call? If you're going to go for it there, why not just go for it? You're telling me you trust your backup quarterback, who has never thrown a pass, to pick up 9 yards more than you trust your starting quarterback? In that case, why is 2 not starting over Dobbs? Because that's what this boils down to, seeing as this wasn't anything close to resembling a fake punt. Needing 9 yards, you trusted your backup quarterback more than your starting quarterback, which raises the obvious question of why the depth chart is organized that way. My head is spinning in circles trying to understand the thought process of Jonathan Gannon. My mind is in a pretzel right now. I wasn't kidding when I said there are so many ways that you can go with this. And sure enough, Jonathan Gannon executed one of the worst fake punts of all time with some of the most backwards logic of all time. Nothing about this play made any sense from the start. Look, I know the Cardinals are getting Kyler Murray back soon, and by default, the offense is going to look a lot better with him than it is with Joshua Dobbs, because let's be honest, just about any quarterback in football right now is better than Joshua Dobbs. But even though Kyler Murray's return is imminent, he can't save this mess. Just because Kyler's returning doesn't mean that Jonathan Gannon is suddenly going to develop a brain and find a brain like he's a character in The Wizard of Oz. Just because Kyler's returning doesn't mean that Jonathan Gannon will develop a sense of logic and stop making boneheaded decisions and awful mistakes that cost this team the game. Because when it came to the game between these 2 teams behind it right here, the decision-making by Jonathan Gannon truly was ugly with a capital U. Nothing about it made any sense at all. So what do we learn from all of this? If you're calling a fake punt, make sure there's an element that actually could fake the opposition out. If the scenario seems a bit fishy, and if the personnel seems a bit fishy, odds are the opponent is going to snuff that out, and your fake punt will just be a horribly botched play. If you need to pick up a first down, then call a play where the person getting the ball in the pass can actually run for the first down, and don't run a concept that makes no sense. If you trust your backup quarterback to get the requisite yardage more than you trust your starting quarterback, then maybe you should reevaluate your depth chart. If your defense is playing well, then trust your defense. And if you are down by one possession, with plenty of time left, and all of your timeouts, and a high-risk play failing means that you lose the game, then maybe, just maybe, you should try doing literally anything else. Because when all of these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Get your official Jaguar Gear 9 merchandise by going to jj9shop.com, and be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out a lot. Join me every Wednesday night where we'll play NFL Trivia for cash prizes at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. To learn more about the history of college football, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 8. To learn more about the history of Major League Baseball, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 7. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.